Hello beautiful warriors, it is me, Caitlin Parker, and welcome back to my channel.
Welcome to the life of the Parkers. Here's to all our crazy adventures. Please enjoy the little things and don't take life too seriously. Mentally a little unstable, but always making you laugh. Cherish every moment, cause it might just be your last.
In today's video, I just wanted to start it off with kind of just a real talk with you and just sit down and talk and explain everything. Just because as you guys can see, I'm not in a really high energy mood and I don't want you guys to feel the vibes are off. It's just, I'm just processing a lot right now and I just wanted to kind of explain my thought process right now and why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. And to get it started, I'm not going to go into a lot of depth about it just because it's hard for me to speak on it because I don't have the vocabulary to speak on it. I'm still in the processing stage and right now I'm at the very beginning, so I can't fully speak on it until I've gone through and processed everything. But as you guys know, a week and a half ago I went to the children's hospital and I'm still processing and dealing with the emotions I felt with that. So I've been feeling really depressed lately. I had a therapy session yesterday and we talked about how even though the appointment was good and it was a positive appointment, why I'm still feeling down and not feeling motivated or not feeling like myself and kind of isolating myself or just feeling down and depressed and why I was feeling like that. And she said that even though it was a positive experience, you had a lot of emotions built up from that. So right now you're in a, how did she describe that? She was like, right now you just have so many built up emotions that your brain is kind of and it takes you a long time to process your emotions. And because of that, right now you're very hypersensitive to a lot of things, because I was also explaining to her that little things are setting me off and I'm getting more overwhelmed by the little things. And I gave her an example. I'm little things such as if I drop something on the floor, I'm just and I'm kind of getting angry for a split second and then it goes away, because I told her that I didn't want to describe myself as an angry person because I'm not, but I just get very easily irritated for a quick second and then that emotion goes away and then I feel this sadness and all of that. So that was just a quick example of me getting irritated. I had a senior session and it wasn't the best experience for me, and that's kind of another topic that I wanted to bring up. Okay, I'm just going to start from the beginning because you guys are not going to understand it unless I fully dive into this and explain it. So during the weekend I made a post on Instagram saying I'm stepping back and taking a break from photography because right now I'm not in the correct headspace and I need time to process all of the emotions I'm dealing with from going to the children's hospital, and just my last 7 months of life have been very hard and I'm still dealing and processing with those, and things just keep adding up to me, so I'm getting very overwhelmed very easily. I just wanted to take a step back from photography because at this point of time, June and July are so hot. Well, June, July, and August are so hot that it's just miserable for me to be outside. And I know I did a YouTube video explaining why it's so miserable for me to be outside, but I don't know if I explained this or not, so I'll kind of just re-explain. I step outside for a minute and I just can't breathe. My body just locks up and I feel paralyzed, and that's not a situation that I want to be in. And I quickly realized that's why lake days are hard for me in August, because the heat just exhausts me and it just drains me mentally and physically, and I can't deal with that. So I wrote a post on Instagram saying I'm taking a step back. I'm not taking any seniors until the end of August or even September, and that's a maybe. I don't know how long this break is going to be. Right now I just need to take a step back and deal with my emotions and deal with everything, and dealing with processing all of the new changes in my life that I've been going through, because it's been really hard. And right now, like I said, I'm in an emotional build-up state, so I'm really hypersensitive to things and getting overwhelmed, and that's why I'm having tears in my eyes while I'm explaining this, because I'm trying to get all my thoughts out, but it's hard to talk about it. Okay, so on Sunday I wrote that post. So the only two senior sessions that I'm accepting are my cousin Barrett and my cousin Gage. And those are the only ones that I had them on the schedule, and they've been scheduled since June. And that was before I'm no, I'm not mentally in the game to be doing a session. So in June I scheduled Barrett's appointment for July 31st. So that was this Monday, which was 1 day ago. And that was like probably 2 days after I wrote that post saying I'm not doing any senior pictures. So I didn't advertise it at all that I took her pictures. Actually, I didn't post anything saying that I did because I don't want people being like, oh, I thought that you weren't doing senior pictures. Well, first of all, I'm not taking anybody that doesn't know my illness, doesn't know me personally, doesn't understand why things affect me the way they do. Like, I'm not doing any of that. But just going back and saying like how my mind is right now, again, I'm going to use the words emotional buildup and hypersensitive to a lot of things. And on Monday, the photo shoot was just kind of a wreck in general. I asked my mom if she could drive me up on the mountain because that was something that was going to take less energy for me, and I would have a little more energy to walk around and take pictures. To explain that in better words, like me driving around takes more energy than if I'm in the passenger seat and I'm able to just kind of relax and breathe. If that made any sense, I don't know if it did. It makes sense in my mind, but I don't know if my words make sense. So my mom was driving us around, and the headset that I'm in is not very good, and I kind of just told her, I'm like, I'm really emotional right now, little things, I'm getting overwhelmed easily, overstimulated by little things, and this night was no exception. We started out, and with Bear Trap, we went to a place by the fence. Like, there's 2 locations that have the fence, and the first location we went would have to go downhill, and I'm like, no, I can't physically do that right now. So we drove up the road, and then there was a spot that was good by the fence line, but you also had to walk a ways to it. So I knew I was going to get out of breath while walking to the fence, but at least I didn't have to walk down a big hill because that's going to use my energy more than just walking on a flat line. And I don't want to sound negative because like I'm talking about my cousin. It makes me feel bad because nothing was her fault. It was all on me. So I don't want to put that out there like it was a negative experience because of her, because it wasn't. It was a negative experience because of me and my personal issues that I'm going through. So I just want to make that very clear before I keep going. So we got to that location. I was sitting in the car and my mom goes, okay, you're gonna need your oxygen to walk to the fence. So my mom offered to carry the oxygen bag with me. So we got out of the car, I put my oxygen on my nose, and my mom was right beside me because the length of the oxygen cord is very small. So she had to be, so I'm right here, and she would have to be like probably about right here to me. So she was standing very close to me, and I was feeling very, what is it called? I want to say like claustrophobic, but I know that is not correct. But it's that feeling. She was just too close to me, and I was kind of like feeling like trapped and like I didn't have any space. And so we were walking, and I was walking a little bit faster than she was. My oxygen kept ganking. So I kept like doing that and kept going back, and I'm like, Mom, you need to walk a little faster because it's starting to hurt me because I'm getting ganked back because I'm walking faster than you are. Which she was like, I'm surprised you're saying this because I don't think you've ever said to me in your life like, oh, you need to walk faster. Until I'm explaining this right now, like it didn't click in my brain that like she was behind me and she should have been walking beside me. So now like I realized like for the next time that that's what needs to happen. But we got to the fence line and I was completely out of breath, and when that happens I have a lack of oxygen to the brain, so I get a very intense headache. And I was overstimulated already because of heightened emotions. So we got there and my cousin Barrett was just like being awkward and stiff. And I was trying to get her into poses, but she wasn't doing the poses that I wanted her to do. And when I was explaining the poses, like it just wasn't connecting. Because I'd be like, okay, like relax your body. And she was just like very stiff. So I'm like, this is not an attractive angle. And like clearly my words were not being like useful. So I was getting very overstimulated by it not going well. It's very hard to pose somebody who is like as stiff as a board, and it just puts extra work and extra pressure on me. Right now I had no ability to cope with any of those feelings. I was just kind of like trying to calm down, like trying to get her into a pose that looked beautiful and like looked natural and all of this. So I was getting overwhelmed by that. I wasn't getting enough oxygen to my brain, so I had an intense headache, so I was dealing with that. So little things were setting me off, and I just remember and then my mom was standing right behind me. I'm like, no, you're too close to me, I need my space, and that's also affecting my brain because that's just a little trigger. And so I had all these things going on. Sorry, I was starting to like relive that feeling. Like that's why I don't like doing stories, because then I start to relive that moment. So I'm gonna try to go faster so I don't like relive those same symptoms. So I just told her like I was getting overwhelmed. My mind was going blank and it was shutting off and I couldn't think of poses, and that was just making me more overwhelmed. So I like ripped off my oxygen and was like, I am sorry, but I can't have my oxygen on because I can't have you being that close. Because I was trying to take pictures and my mom was right beside me, and I'm like, I feel like I'm being trapped and I don't have enough space. And at the same time, I'm trying to get her to do poses and nothing is working because she's being stiff. So I'm trying to come up with different things and it's just not working. And my mind is like going blank. Then we did a few more poses and we were doing flowers. I was trying to process all of that, just yeah. So we went to my grandma's cabin and I was having the same issues. Like I was trying to get her into poses. She was being like awkward, and so the poses it wasn't the right angle, it wasn't the right poses, and I was just feeling overwhelmed with all of that, and it was happening again at the second location. So I was still dealing with the first location feelings and emotions, and the anxiety I had during that photo shoot was terrible. So I kind of just like quit after that. Basically, I'm just like, I'm gonna try to do like the basic poses that I do. If she looks good, she looks good. If she doesn't, she doesn't. And like that's the photo she's gonna get. And I'd be like, okay, now you can see what I was trying to do, but it just wasn't clicking. So we got done taking pictures at the cabin. At that point, my mind was kind of shut off and I was overwhelmed and I didn't really want to be there anymore. My mom was driving me and my cousin Barrett around everywhere. So she has a gate. So me and my mom were sitting in the car and Barrett went out to open the gate, and that's when I kind of broke down because my mom she always senses when something is off on me. Like it's just the way I breathe or like the way I respond, and I wasn't really being that outgoing and I was shutting down. And so she was like, are you okay? At that point, like an intense feeling came again and I got an extreme headache and I just bawled for like a minute straight, and I just like closed my eyes and I was like, I'm just overwhelmed. I'm not in a good headspace. I'm trying to think of poses to do and she's just like not doing it and it's not clicking and she's being stiff and I need her to relax and she's not relaxing, and just all of this going on. So like I just kind of like sat there with my hands across my eyes and I just got worked up for about a minute, and then I just like calmed myself, and that actually helped just like release the emotions that I was feeling. Because after that I just took a deep breath and I'm like, okay, just get through the night. It's gonna be okay. Well, this is what my mom said. She was like, Caitlin, just try not to like pose her. Let her do what she does naturally. And if you can like enhance the pose or change it a little bit, you can do that, but don't try to like force her into poses because it's just not working and you're getting overwhelmed. And that actually helped me a lot. So then we went to Crimson Dawn, which is another one of my favorite places to take pictures. And at that one, I don't want to say like I was relaxed, because obviously with my anxiety, I wasn't relaxed, but I feel like I was more chill and I wasn't trying to like push something that wasn't working. And I was trying to be like, it's okay, we're just going to like let her do what she does and I'm just gonna photograph that. And it was kind of raining off and on the entire day, but during the photo shoot it was very cloudy and overcast, but it wasn't raining, and it never did rain throughout the photo shoot, but it was just getting time for like sunset. So we were only at Crimson Dawn for about 10 minutes or so, which was a perfect amount of time. It was just better at Crimson Dawn. Then I was talking to my therapist and I was explaining just what I explained to you guys. I just did that whole story time, and actually I explained it more better to you guys than I did my therapist. After she told me that I was having heightened senses and I was being like hypersensitive to things because I was having an emotional buildup, I'm like, okay, that makes sense why I was so sensitive and why I was like quick to be overwhelmed and overstimulated at that. And so I was talking to her and I told her that I'm taking a break from photography, but her photo shoot was already scheduled, so I'm like, okay, I can do it, like that's okay. And I told her, I'm like, just based off that experience, like that kind of put it into perspective and like just confirmed my thoughts and feelings about that. Sorry, I don't know why I got confused about that. Let me rewind. Let me say that again. So because of the experience I had with my cousin and her photo shoot, that put it into perspective and made it real that me taking a step back is exactly what I need. Because I told her, I'm like, for the last 7 months with everything happening, and at least since February, I know like those 2 Valentine photo shoots I did were absolutely horrible. And again, not because of the clients, but based on me and my chronic illness and my anxiety and depression. Because for one, it was 12 degrees outside and I shouldn't have been outside, but I really wanted Valentine's photos for both of those. So I told her, I'm like, I haven't been looking forward to photo shoots since February, and it's getting like worse and worse with every photo shoot that I did. And yeah, on Monday, like that was the worst photo shoot I've had with like all of my senses being heightened. and my anxiety being heightened and all of that. I'm like, that was just a confirmation that taking a break is exactly what I need, and that's okay. Because I told her, I'm like, photography is the one thing that I don't want to lose passion for, and I'm starting to lose passion for, and it's really scary because I know that if I didn't have a chronic illness and if I didn't have the challenges that I have with my body and with my mental state, I would love to be a photographer, but I can't because I have those physical limitations, and it's hard for me to accept. So that's why I'm getting emotional talking about photography, because it's been like the biggest light in my life, and right now it's just not. It's something I'm not looking forward to. It's something that I'm struggling with going to photo shoots. The anxiety, the built up anxiety before the photo shoot, during the photo shoot, and then me just having built up emotions and not being able to process it very quickly is just really hard on my body and really hard on my mental state. I had to pause the camera because I was just getting worked up and too overwhelmed. But like I said, photography has been my biggest passion since I was 11, and something I never thought that I would lose. And I don't want to say I lost my love of photography because I haven't, but it's just getting more difficult. And I'm like, I told my therapist that I wanted to stop and take a break before I completely lost it. I'm like, I just want to do like photo shoots that really aren't planned and are just kind of like natural, like, you know, me and my brother going, I was gonna say on a hike, but like obviously I'm not going on a hike, but me and my brother going to the nature and just me taking pictures of like the nature, and not more structured shoot with like senior photos, couples, or families. Just more of like, oh, this is my life and I'm just documenting my life in nature and my family and everything. So I'm like, I just want to like re-fall in love with photography with the limitations that I have, because photo shoots even a year ago look completely different from photo shoots now. So that's my life right now. I'm stepping back, I'm taking a break from photography, because right now I know if I keep pushing it, I'm just going to increasingly hate photography more, and that's not something that I want to do, because photography is a really big passion of mine and I don't want to lose that. And I don't want my chronic illness to win in that, because that's one thing that I've said was like, photography is the last thing that my chronic illness can take away from me that I love, and I'm not going to allow that to happen. So for me, that's taking a break from photography. Yeah, that's the state I'm in. In August, I'll be having my other cousin's senior session, and that's it. And that's the only photo shoot that I have scheduled and planned. And besides that, like I said earlier, I don't know how long the break is. And I'm just kind of just like leaving it out into the world. Just, I know when the time is right to come back. I don't know if that's weeks, months, or even a year from now. We'll just have to see. Okay, that is enough on the photography topic. I think I've gotten everything out, and actually this has helped me talk about it. So hearing the words from my therapist saying the emotionally hypersensitive, and so I was trying to like look that up, and that's also another like very confusing topic for me, because if you look up, there's a difference between hypersensitivity and emotionally hypersensitivity, and also being a highly sensitive person. So it's like those three things are different, but like if you look it up on the internet, they're like intertwined is what they say. People will describe one thing when they mean the other, so I don't know how to describe that. Kind of like two things that are opposite, but people use them the same and think that they're the same, and that's kind of why like I just got mind blown out of that, and I'm very overwhelmed with that. So I was looking up emotional hypersensitive, because that's what my therapist described as, and I remember her vividly saying that. So I was trying to look it up, and when you look up emotional hypersensitive, some of the search things that come up are highly sensitive people, which is HSP. Some articles will tell you like, no, they're completely different. Some articles will tell you they're the same. Some articles will tell you they're completely different and it's based on the nature and nurture. Some of the articles were like, yeah, you can experience both and somebody can have both of them. And then some articles are like, no, you're either one or the other. So it's basically just like which article you read. So that's what I'm going to go into my therapy session next week, because I laugh at this, because one thing that stood out to me was like they get very overwhelmed very easily. And like I got overwhelmed. I don't know, like I got overwhelmed by the word overwhelmed, if that makes any sense to you guys. Hypersensitivity is based on a trauma response. You have more like an anger response, and like I don't feel like I relate to that part of it, because you like lash out at people, or if you get bad news, like if a boss says like, oh, you didn't get the promotion but somebody else did, like you would yell and scream at the boss. And I'm like, no, like I never raise my voice at anybody, and no, I'm not quick to anger, and I wouldn't describe myself as an angry person, because no, like when I get those emotions, I shut down. If you just look up hypersensitive, it says that you cause like harm to others, and I don't do that at all. So I'm like, I don't want to put that label on me because I don't want to be like, oh, this is what I have, just casually to somebody, and then they look it up and are like, oh, they're more harmful to others. They lash out and they will yell and scream at you if something doesn't go their way. And like, that's not me at all. So I don't want to like put that label on me if that's not something that actually describes me. And I know with a lot of like anxiety and depression, like you don't get all the symptoms that they have, or you don't qualify with all the characteristics of somebody that has it. So I think that that's kind of the same thing when I'm dealing with emotional hypersensitive people. So that's one thing. And then the highly sensitive people, like I also feel that too, and they were explaining what that was, and it was like, oh, you get overwhelmed very easily. So I was just exactly what they were saying. Basically, I'm like, I can see traits in both of these things. Based on the articles, I'm like, I don't know if I have one or if I have both of them, because all of these articles are telling me two completely different things. It depends on which article you're trying to read and all of that. So I was just getting super overwhelmed. So I didn't go to bed until like 3 o'clock this morning. I'm sorry, you guys. My camera shut off because it died. And I think that was for the best. I was just rambling on, but that's just part of my anxious self, that I have a lot of thoughts going in at once. Like my therapist said, I have built up emotions and I'm hypersensitive, so I get overwhelmed and overstimulated very easily. And that's just basically kind of what I was trying to explain to you guys. It just depends on like the correct vocabulary. And I've spoken about this before, but like my therapist helps me with collecting my thoughts and turning them into like very specific words. So when I do get a specific word from my therapist, I try to look it up and see all of that. And so that's where I went wrong. So I went down the rabbit hole with all of that and was just getting too overwhelmed to the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, like I need to get all these thoughts out of my head. So I just like took a deep breath and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to save these thoughts. I'm not going to spend any of my energy thinking about this because I'm obviously very overwhelmed by looking at this, and I can't give me a correct answer because all of the information is just too much for my brain to process. My next therapy session, I'm just going to kind of explain exactly what I just explained to you and be like, okay, in your professional opinion, what do you think I have? And can you explain this to me like in words that I understand, so I don't go down the Google rabbit hole, because that's what I did and that ended very poorly for me. So yeah, again, that's my goal, is to talk to her about explaining what emotionally hypersensitive person is and the difference between that and what a highly sensitive person is, and if they're the same, if they're different, can you have both without having all of the characteristics. All of the thoughts that I just have, I'm going to explain that to her, so then she can give me one word to describe what I'm feeling, give me one word that I can just stick to, because I've also noticed that that has helped me with making processing my emotions and thoughts a lot easier, because I think that when I am going through something and I'm very overstimulated, instead of a bunch of words and emotions just hitting me at once, I can be like, are you being emotionally hypersensitive? Like, this is what it is. And then my mind can just go blank and I can go back to how I was feeling. So I think that that's going to help me a lot. So I'm really looking forward to that. My mind just went blank, and I think that's all I'm going to say about that. It has helped me with just explaining all of this to you guys, because this has been heavily on my mind, since Monday, and now it's Wednesday. So I had the photo shoot on Monday, therapy on Tuesday, and now today's Wednesday, so I'm trying to like process the photo shoot, process what my therapist says, try not to get overwhelmed with me Googling what I shouldn't have Googled, relying on my therapist to help me through this. So I'm like, okay, your mind needs to be blank, your emotions need to be blank. Don't think about this until you have sat down with your therapist so she can make it clear for you. It has helped me a lot with dealing with a doctor's appointment. I'm just going to explain it real quickly of how she said that. So I was telling her, I'm like, I don't know why I'm feeling depressed when the doctor's appointment went good and it was actually a good appointment. And she was like, this is when she used the word, it's just built up emotions. And that's like your body is just heightened right now. And so little things are setting you off. So even though the appointment, like, yes, it went good, you kind of got good news, you kind of got relief from it, you just have all these built up emotions that you just need to release. So that explained like why it takes me so long to go back to how I was before in a doctor's appointment. And so she also said, like, it doesn't matter if you got positive or negative feedback from them, or if you think that you had a positive or negative experience, because the anxiety you get before that, the emotions you feel before an appointment, you have all of those that are slowly building up. Then you have the anxiety and the overwhelmingness of the appointment. Then you get the results back or the feedback from the doctors. No matter what they said, you have those emotions. Then you have the thinking back on my appointment emotions. Kind of those three things. Like, I still have all of the emotions from that and I haven't let them go. And that's something why, like, that makes sense why it takes me a long time to process everything. That's just where I am, a great emotional mess for you guys. And that's why a lot of my vlogs, I think going forward, are going to be kind of like sit and talk videos, because this helps me, and this is one of my coping skills, is by just opening up and talking about my experience without having to talk to somebody one-on-one. That's one of the things that helps me process it, is either by writing things down or just turning on the camera and trying to talk through everything that's on my mind. And that's why this video is all over the place when I talk, because I have little things that keep popping in my head, and then I think of one thing and then my mind goes that direction. And that's why I have a therapist, so I can like throw all these thoughts at her. She gives me like a word or a phrase back and was like, this is why you're feeling it. You guys, like, it just helps me so much. But I'm gonna stop talking about that. I'm talking and rambling on, but I am trying to get those thoughts out of my head, because after my therapy session yesterday, my mind was clear for a solid 3 hours. I had a very long phone call with my mom. We actually were on the phone for about an hour and a half, and I had a very nice conversation with her. And then I felt fine until 10:30, when my mind was like, oh, let's search up what an emotionally hypersensitive person is. And yeah, that's just when everything went downhill. So I'm like really relying on my therapist right now and my mom to like help me deal with these, and just I can talk to her about all of these things that are processing in my mind, and she kind of just like slows down my thoughts and puts it into words and phrases that I understand. That helps me a lot. And I know I've said this 5 times that I'm going to stop talking about this, but now I officially am. Story time is over. That has helped me, so thank you guys for just listening. And like I said, the next few videos are probably going to be me opening up a lot more and trying to like process my experiences and what I'm going through, and just talking about all the thoughts that I have in my head and just getting them out of my head. That's it. And with all that being said, I also went to BZ, and with all that being said, we're going to go to the next, and with all that being said, we're going to go to the next episode, and with all that being said, we're going to, oh my gosh, you guys. See, this is why anxiety is like so bad to have on a person, because you're just, you have so many thoughts at once, and you can't get a thought out. So I think that's why I like try to like laugh at things. Because rather than feeling overwhelmed, I'm just like laughing and crying. Oh my gosh, if you guys like want to look like what a mentally ill person is. Okay, I will be back when I can figure out how to speak English. I think you guys can tell by the way I'm talking that yesterday was just over emotional for me, and I did a lot of things, and right now I'm just like, oh my gosh, you guys, I just cannot think straight. On top of therapy yesterday and all of that, I went to the Unleashed Dog Bakery because I woke up and I'm like, okay, I want to go to the Unleashed Dog Bakery and get some of their ice cream and just get some cookies again, and maybe get some toys and mosquito spray. You know, I just want to go look, see what they have. So I'm going to show you guys what I got from the Unleashed Dog Bakery. I got a toy that says Hot Diggity Dog, and it's hot sauce, which I think is super cute, and it's by Cosmo Fur Babies. Squeaky Hot Sauce Dog Toy. Then for Miley, Pixie, and Cody, as you guys know that they are still living out in the camper with my parents, and there's a lot of mosquitoes out there and a lot of flies. So I got them the Mossy Oak Citronella, I'm gonna butcher that, I can't pronounce that word to save my life, dog spray, and it said for the active outdoor dog. This protects and soothes against nature's elements. So it's basically kind of mosquito spray. So like after they get mosquito bites, or if they just have flies or irritation, my mom can just spray this on them and just see how it works. I never bought this before, but I was very excited to see this. They advertised it because they're coming out with their like Happy Camper collection, and so they had like a lot of tents and outdoor toys. So it's just kind of an experiment. We're gonna see if it works, and I really hope that it does, because I do definitely want to like relieve their pain, because like mosquito bites are not fun for anybody, so they're not going to be fun for a dog. So I'm going to be giving this to Cody, Miley, and Pixie. Then I got some cookies, and it's cute. We got a little llama cookie. We got a green cookie that says good dog. And you guys, these are so cute. I have two little dinosaurs. One's blue and then one is brown, and I think that they are super adorable, and I'm like, oh, I have to get both of those. So I just love all the dog cookies that they get, and I think that's my favorite part about going to the dog bakery is that they have super adorable, stylish cookies. And they also had doggy ice cream. The flavors of ice cream this week were peanut butter and bacon. So I got that, and it's right now it's defrosting. I'm going to be giving that to my dogs as well. And actually, we kind of had a miscommunication with her because I meant to say I want one peanut butter ice cream and one bacon ice cream. And she took that as like I wanted it in a twist. Because they do have the options. They have, you can buy them separately or you can buy a twist. And I think that because I used the words I want one of each, I think in her brain that said, okay, she wants a twist. Which I wasn't rude about it at all. She came out with a twist of ice cream. She was like, is this what you want? I'm like, yep, that's what I wanted, thank you. You know, because I already paid for it, so I'm not going to be like, no, I don't want that ice cream, because it's just going to go to waste if I don't accept it. So I'm like, no, that's okay, they can try a twist. We know that they like peanut butter, we know that they like bacon. I was super excited to try the bacon one, but I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be good as a twist, but we will just have to see and find out. Then yesterday, me and my grandma also went to Albertsons and got some flowers. I needed some new flowers from Albertsons, and I wanted to get my mom some flowers, and I was going to write her a note that said like, thank you for loving me and thank you for helping me through these times, because I know I'm being difficult to be around, and just like thank you for loving me and thank you for helping me through this. So I went to Albertsons and I bought her some flowers. And then of course like I had therapy, and then I had that long conversation with my mom. It was nice that those kind of like fell into place, because I'm like, you've helped me through my processing with the children's hospital, helping me with the process stage of hospice, the photo shoot, and then now it's the therapy. So it's just like I've been really relying on my mom, and she's been really helpful to me. So I just wanted to get her flowers, and then I was going to write a note, which I have the pen and paper right here. So I was gonna write her a note just saying like, I am thankful that you show me like unconditional love. I am thankful that you love me when I'm hard to love, because I know I'm hard to love and I know I'm a lot to deal with. And right now, like, that's just exactly what I need. So I wanted to tell her, like, thank you just for loving me and accepting me for who I am, and just helping me with processing my emotions and being like a sounding board. Yeah, like I told my therapist, like, you and my mom have just helped me so much these last 2 weeks, and I can't like thank you enough for it. So for my mom, I want to get her flowers, and I'm going to write her a note. And I think that's what I'm going to do right now. And I'm also going to show you guys the flowers that I bought my mom. I think that I'm making it just like very clear to you guys that I'm just like emotionally unstable right now, because as you guys can see, like I have a lot of emotions built up. I'm having a hard time releasing them and letting them go and processing it. While I'm trying to process old things, new things keep popping up. My emotional capacity is just like at a 100%. And I think it's very obvious that I'm not okay. But on top of everything, Bentley got groomed today. He got groomed this morning actually. And I wanted to explain that situation too, because that's a whole situation on its own. He's supposed to be enrolled in like a 6-week program. The last time he was groomed was in June, and now it's August. Okay, that's 2 months. Like I think something like went wrong. So I'm kind of like, okay, he probably should have got groomed like the last week of July, and he didn't, and now it's August. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna reach out to her and just kind of like see what's going on and see if I could book an appointment. And so I reached out to her and I said, hey, Bentley was last groomed in June, and now it's August and he hasn't been groomed yet. And I thought he was on the 6-week program. So I just was checking in and just making sure that he still is on that 6-week program. And backstory to that, like we're trying to get Bo and Bentley onto the same grooming schedule, just because, as you guys know, like if I'm not emotionally unstable enough, like I get anxiety and panic attacks while going to the dog groomers. Right now I can't take Bentley to the groomers myself, and also it's getting hard for me to like walk inside the building. Overall, not a good experience for me to go to the groomer place. So we are trying to get Bentley and Bo on the same schedule just so like my grandma can take them and it's just like one trip and then they're done. So now I have the correct date so I can like be like, okay, this. Bentley got groomed June 1st. Bentley got groomed June 4th. Because they were kind of close to the same, but they weren't on the same date. So we explained to her during that appointment that we would like them to be on the same 6-week schedule. So she was like, okay, so that's exactly what she did. But then my grandma went on to a trip in July and she had Bo boarded, and that was the 2nd week of July. So while Bo was there, he got groomed. So Bo got his like 6-week groom, but Bentley didn't. When I reached out to them, she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I put them on the same schedule, but I didn't realize that I had groomed Bo in July, but I didn't groom Bentley in July. So Bo and Bentley were both scheduled for August 21st, but I had a cancellation for 9 o'clock tomorrow morning if you would like to take that. So I told her, I messaged her back and I'm like, can I please book the appointment for tomorrow at 9 a.m. and we can just do like his, his normal groom and nail trim, and then still keep him on the 21st, and then like on that appointment, he won't get a grooming service, he'll just get the bath service and nails trim. So she's like, oh yeah, of course. So she said, so we'll just have him for August 2nd. He'll get groomed, his normal stuff, and then I'll keep him on the schedule for August 21st, and he'll just get a bath and his nails done. And so I'm like, okay, perfect. So that's where we're at right now. So Bentley just got groomed. He like looks all fluffy and so handsome. That's basically a life update for you guys. So I'm going to show you Bentley. I'm going to show you the flowers. And then I have a special surprise for tonight because I'll be giving the dogs their ice cream. Yo, look how cute my baby boy is. And I just want to say that Bentley is the real homie, because while I was explaining all of that, he has just been laying here, which of course now he's standing, but he has just been by my side listening to me and helping me throughout this whole story process that I've been doing. But as you guys can see, look how cute and fluffy he looks. This is him right after his grooming appointment. And you just look so handsome. I love you. He's mad because he didn't get his pup cup, but surprise, you are getting ice cream instead. Yeah, so then you'll be happy. So cute. He's the real one. I just love my baby boy. I have just finished up writing the letter and I just wanted to share it with you guys. It says, thank you for helping me out the last 2 weeks. Thank you for listening to my overwhelming thoughts and feelings and just letting me talk through them. You have helped me with understanding my thoughts and getting them out. Thank you for showing me unconditional love and loving me when I am hard to love and hard to be around. Thank you for all your support and unconditional love. I love you, my Michelle. And that's all. And then as promised, this is the beautiful bouquet that I bought for her, and I know she's gonna love it. Alright you guys, I have the ice cream prepared, and the boys are super excited, aren't you boys? Okay, I quickly put the bowls down. I'm out of breath because as you guys know, bending down is really hard for me with my chronic illness, but it looks like they are enjoying their meal. Well, their ice cream. Okay, well, Bo is done with his ice cream, and now we're just waiting on Bentley. Okay, well, it looks like baby boy is done. Did you like your ice cream? Yeah, so as you guys can see, Bo like completely stuck it behind the plant. So this is the aftermath. But as you guys can see, they love their ice cream. They ate it so fast. But yeah, so tonight I'm just going to be going out to my parents' property. I'm going to be giving my mom the flowers, and I'm also going to be giving the other dogs their doggy ice cream. So exciting day. I just wanted to add in a clip of both the flowers and the note. We're getting ready to go give the dogs their ice cream and the thunder and lightning.
That's how the dogs have ice cream in the middle of a rain windstorm.
All right.
Right here?
Yeah. All right.
He's like, here, Miley, you want to try? Oh.
Now you want it?
do.
Ugh.
Dixie likes it.
Dixie's like, this is the bomb diggity. Oh, you little turd.
Does she drop it?
No,
No,
he's
Dixie
taking it
keeps
from
stealing
Miley.
it.
Oh. Goody boy.
He's like, yeah, I want that. Dixie's like, me too.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, you're a good boy. Come here, Miley girl.
Pixie's right there.
She says, I love treats.
Pixie.
Hey. Cody's like, yeah, me too. Come here, Miley girl. Miley. Come here, Miley girl. There you go. We'll give Miley the cookie.
Oh yeah, that's a good
Come here,
idea.
sweetheart. No, Pixie, you're over here. Watch this. There
There we go. So the other one's kind of just like soup.
All right, y'all are done. Y'all are done.
Yay. Yeah, look at this weather, you guys. Little man playing in the rain. Are you playing in the rain? Go potty. Go play in the rain. Yeah, it's downpouring right now. You cute boy. There you are.